So I've paddled out here to my favorite sandbar to put a couple methods and theories to the test on how you can acquire pure drinkable water in an environment such as this, along the coast or on a sandbar. Now I'm going to be testing a couple methods. One, of course, the solar still, which I addressed in a different video. And also, I'm going to be digging a hole to see if we can get any water that way. And I'll try some different alternative methods and see how they work. So, first part, making our solar still, is digging a hole. Now this step isn't necessary, but I'm going to do it because I'm going to be pouring some salt water in here and I don't want it to absorb into the sand. It's because I have an extra plastic bag, I'm just going to line the hole with the bag. And that'll give us a little reservoir. Now I'm going to collect some wet seaweed and moss and place that into the hole I dug for the solar still. Now I'm going to just really soak it with some salt water. Now we're going to place a clean, uncontaminated cup, or in this case the bottom of a soda bottle, into the hole. So like so. So now we're going to cover the hole with our transparent plastic sheet. Now, if you have a bag like this, it's not quite big enough, just use your knife or just tear it down the side to make it larger. There we go. Just using a rock to get me started, holding it down. And I'm just going to remove some of the sand just so we get more sun coming through. It doesn't have to be textbook, but we'll give it a try. Now our last step, of course, is to take a weight or a rock and place it over our container. And just making sure that the rim of the container is not touching the plastic and preventing any moisture buildup from actually getting into the cup. Now I find it's never as pretty as the textbooks, but as your skill increases, it'll get better and better each time. I'm going to leave this here for the afternoon. It's a bit overcast, but we'll see what kind of result we can get. For the next method of trying to find water, I'm going to dig a hole. Now the idea is that you go behind the first sand dune, find the lowest point, and then start digging from there. So I'm going to skedoodle over this dune and see what I can do. So here I am over the first sand dune. I'm going to start digging a hole. Now if you have a shovel, use it. But if you packed a shovel and didn't pack water, you might want to check your priorities. You could also use a digging stick if there's a stick available. Anything to help you dig, good idea. Since this hole could be considerably deeper than the one that you need for your solar still, one of the things you have to keep in mind is how much you're exerting yourself. Because you're looking for water, so that means you don't have any. If you're exerting yourself to a large degree, you're going to start sweating out the water reserves that you have. And it's important to try to reserve water, keep it in your body, don't sweat it out, don't spit it out. Digging in sand can be exhausting and difficult work. The sand just keeps flowing in as I'm digging it out. I'm not making much headway. So I dug down several feet and the sand is damp but not really wet. So I don't think I'm going to have much success with this hole. It's a decision you have to make. Should you continue? Should you go down further? Or should you try to find another area where you might have some luck? Can't stress enough how important it is not to exhaust yourself. I'm here in the afternoon sun. I've only been digging for maybe less than 10 minutes. I can already feel the sweat starting to build up on my body, and this could be a dangerous thing, especially if I'm in dire need for water. Now you'll have to purify any water that you obtain out of a hole like this. So you'll have to boil it, or if you have a plastic bottle, you can fill the bottle with it, cap it, and then just leave it in the sun all day, and the UV rays will help kill anything that may be in the water. Although this is a video about water, thought I'd take the opportunity to show you a grub you can find while digging your hole, so you have a potential food source. And no, I'm not going to eat it. So far, the digging the hole behind the sand dune method hasn't produced any results. Sand is still mostly dry. It's been a hard paddle out fighting the wind and the waves, so I'm going to take a little break and let my solar still do its job. The question sometimes comes up, can I drink seawater if I'm desperate? Well, you shouldn't. Seawater is going to cause dehydration, and the reason for this is that your kidneys can only process so much salt. Seawater has about 3% salt, and that's far too much for your kidneys to process. So in order for your kidneys to process it, it needs to take water out of your body, and that's exactly what you don't want to happen. It's nearly 30 degrees here in the mid-afternoon, and I can see a lot of moisture is building up on the plastic, which is good. I've made some adjustments because my plastic was touching the rim of my container, and you don't want that. What you want is the plastic to recess a bit into the middle of your container to allow the moisture and condensation to move down and drop into the container. So let's take a look and see what we got. So lots of condensation on the top. Just gonna let some of it drip in. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna try to be careful not to contaminate my supply. So not as much as we were hoping for. Well, let's give it a test. Yeah, there's no salt. The problem I was having is that my reservoir was touching the plastic. And throughout the day, I tried to make adjustments to correct that problem. What I should have done is just taken the plastic off, dug the hole deeper, and then set the entire solar still back up. Instead of trying to make the small adjustments, I think I just made more problems. If you've been around survival at all, if you've watched any videos or read any books, one thing you're going to come across is the term that cotton kills. What they're referring to is when cotton gets wet, it loses its thermal capabilities. It can no longer keep you insulated. So if you're wearing cotton clothes and they're soaked, you're going to get cold. So they always recommend you have wool. Cotton can also help you. It can help save your life. And collecting water is one of the ways in which it can do it. As you can see around me, there's a lot of grass and vegetation. Now right now is not a good opportunity to demonstrate this because it's nearly 30 degrees in the afternoon. Everything is very dry. There's even an open fire ban in this province right now. But in the mornings, when it's cooler, or in the evenings, at night and things, when the fog comes in and the moisture starts to gather on the grass, you can use cotton to help collect that for a good source of drinking water. Now when the grass is wet with dew and moisture or fog, you just take your cotton and run it through the grass until it's nice and soaking wet, and then you can wring it out into whatever you're using to keep your water. If you're not wearing shorts, you're wearing long pants, and there are a type of pants that pick up a lot of water, which you shouldn't be wearing, but if you are, you can just use your clothing to collect the water. You can also just tie or wrap any kind of cotton material you have, whether it's a towel or something, around your legs, and as you're walking through the grass, it's going to pick up the water for you.